我在之前的一个视频里面提到过，一个三角形头的外星存有治愈了一个从高中就开始耳聋的一个老爷爷的耳疾，并且呢，这个团队还拍到了这个外星存有的照片。科里古德在他的《揭露宇宙》这个纪录片里面也提到了这个外星存有，就是这个三角形头外星存有的一次接触，他们是在地里的一次接触，但是他们没有过多的谈话。之后呢，我也会把这个录像给放出来，就是这次访谈的录像。最近呢，在有关找资料的时候呢，就看到了这样一则新闻，是来自于弯弯的一则新闻，他们也是发现了一个拍到一个比较清晰的这种三角形头外星存有的照片，大家可以根据这几则视频里面的资料大概自行对比一下，我觉得都是能够合得上来的。就除了身高呢，我觉得可以很好的去解释，因为我们人类之间的身高也有很大的差异哈。然后综合起来可以看出来，这种三角形的外星存有呢是比较正面的。至于是第几密度的呢，现在好像还没有一个确切的说法。
Aliens look like. All right. Well, the one, for example, that healed this man's hearing, who was in our circle, sort of very triangular head. About 5.5 feet tall. The photograph of it is beautiful, but the experience that this man had was more beautiful.
Had a great experience at Oracle and ended up having a healing experience.
We did these protocols and we got into meditation and things started to appear and we're photographing it, and we're seeing it, and we're watching it, and we're looking around and everyone's mouths are wide open. A lot of times these craft, they pop in and out so fast that to try and capture them on a telephoto lens is next to impossible.
While in deep meditation, they heard a being walking behind them, phasing in and out of 3D spacetime. Marconi adjusted his camera to shoot in the direction that Dr. Greer pointed. All of a sudden, a teardrop-shaped trans-dimensional object materialized between Ed Moan and a medical student, which was witnessed by most of the circle.
We reviewed my photos from that particular time, and there on the hillside, standing behind a man named Ed Moan, was this being that everyone's like, whoa, what is this?
This being has a very triangular face and has been seen on a number of our expeditions, and they are known as master healers.
Ed he wore hearing aids in both ears, and he couldn't hear, half the things people were saying to him.
I had hearing loss, from high school. I would avoid parties and social settings where lots of people would gather together because it was uncomfortable not to be able to hear. Got to my room and I felt this draw to go back out there. So I got up and walked out, and I saw this red light out in the middle of the desert about 300 feet away or so. I connected with it right away. I could feel it and knew that it was aware of me and that it was indeed the thing that was calling me. So I invited it to come and hang out. At one point, Daniel heard me talking to this red orb, and he couldn't believe it either. He went and got his camera and took a short video clip of this red orb.
He said that for the next 45 minutes he had a communication with them, and at the end of the conversation he said, do you think you can do something about my hearing?
Got some sleep, and when I woke up, I went out to breakfast with some of the people in the group. I had hearing aids, and they weren't with me at breakfast, and it was a very emotional event for me to discover that I could hear everything everyone was saying at the table, and not only at my table, but at tables away from me. And I haven't worn my hearing aids since. I had a hard time finding them to bring them here. They do a very good job, but not as good as the ETs did. It's changed my life. It really has. And that's the part that gets.
I didn't know this happened to him until I saw him the next day on the hammock. And he was just relating the story, and he was crying like a baby. And just to watch the emotion coming out of him was very moving, and he's had perfect hearing since then.
My takeaway from the event and from my experience with the ETs is that they've been in my life a long time, and I just didn't know it. It's such a beautiful world waiting for us.
Points of data that we have been covering on the show? Correct. But you have since been taken up there, or taken down there again? Correct. But before that happened, there was a meeting at a secret space program base in the Triangles. Before that happened, you mean before we were around that's correct. And and we were about to appear and do this is the one that didn't even talk. Right. When you met with him. Right. Yeah. It was completely silent. Seemed like the most advanced out of all of them, right? Maybe. I don't know. But it never communicated with me the first time or this time. Right. So it was the most bizarre thing. I'm sitting there looking across. We're watching back and forth. It's completely silent. The triangle head being, as I described before, was 10 feet, 11 feet tall. Gosh. And its head was as wide as its shoulders, if not just a little bit wider. It was very thin. Its arms and legs very thin. And it seemed almost as if it was in not really water, but it was just slowly just waving. It was very strange. Its legs and its arms. And as last time, it has 3 fingers and 3 toes. And it was up on its toes like tripods. And they were doing like this. And they had a completely silent exchange that went on for some time. It's really almost impossible to judge time accurately. It went on for some time, and they were just sitting there looking at each other, and you would, the only movement was the slight movement of the triangle head being, and Gonzalez and I keep looking at each other and looking back and forth, and you would see some slight mannerisms here and there, and then it was over, the triangle head being.
How long did this silence last?
It may have been anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes subjectively. I mean, it went on for a while.
And you didn't get any intuitive hits on what they were talking about?
The only intuitive hits I was getting, I wasn't feeling anything from the triangle head being. but I was feeling, I felt some anxiety come up. I felt excitement. I felt a little bit of confusion and different things, but I did not know what those emotions were associated with content-wise in the conversation, because we were not privy to the interface that was going on between the two. After this had ended, and the triangle had been just, it's like you change a radio channel, and it's gone.
It just winked out?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a fade or was it just a sudden disappearance?
Winked out, gone. The delegation was.
对玉山国家公园警察陈友煌来说，却是再真实不过了。5年前，他还是玉山警察队员警的时候，跟同人类型性的巡山任务，他拍下了一张嘉明湖的风景照片，却是在2天之后才发现，照片里远处多了一个透明的生物。按比例一算，这身高有250公分，而且还对着镜头看。公安局列为是机密，不得外泄。而现在美国鉴定单位指出，证实并非造假。换句话说，真的是外星人吗？风景照里似乎有异样。
他一讲，内星人掐嘴，他手就慢慢的放大，把那个透明的人形的东西在我的相机里面嘛。
放大照片一看，远处山人线上多了一个人形生物，但仔细看，手掌有弧状，按比例一算，身高竟有250公分。
那好像头就是这样一个摆动姿态，好像头转过来，这样子在跟你对望的感觉。
最特别的是，三角形头部竟然也往镜头看，难道他也发现人类对他摄影吗？下山后，同事们议论纷纷，照片在同时间流传，直到登上媒体版面，陈永煌被记了一支申诫，他这才知道，原来这张照片已经被列为国安层级的机密，被送往美国鉴定。结果出炉，照片并没有造假，意思是那真的是外星人吗？理事长有来找我。他就跟我访问了一些，说下面有没有造假啦，怎么拍摄到了啦，他跟我要了几张相片嘛。飞碟学会也用摄影电脑、手机专业鉴定，证明了照片是真实拍摄。但那生物到底是什么？9个月后，在意大利也发生类似情况。有一个意大利的工人开了一辆车子，开，然后车子通停下来了，他就觉得很奇怪，但是他又看了，就发现前面有一个很高大的人，一个约有400公分高的人形生物挡住了汽车的去路。当时拿起电话要打的时候，手机都不通了，拍照也没办法拍，因为整个大家的手机都不能使用。这张照片呢，就是他们就是目击者根据目击者的描述画出来的照片。对比意大利嘉明湖疑似外星人长相，锥形头部、特长的弯曲手臂与脚，手掌上弧的形状相似度很高，难道是见到同一种外星生物吗？这个嘉明湖现在的讲法也是认为它是陨石掉下来掉到这个地方，说不定这个地方有外星人的基地。